Hey everyone, how are you doing? My name's Jeremy Vest. I have been doing YouTube and digital marketing for a very long time. I'm old. 18 years doing YouTube professionally. And how many of you guys do videos right now? Awesome. How many people want to do videos? All right. Not many of you, but maybe I'll convince you. So today we're going to be talking about snackable videos, and really what I'm talking about is short vertical videos. I'm also talking about short long form videos, but for the most part, I'm talking about TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Stories, Facebook, things like that. But you can apply these principles to anything. Over the last 18 years, my students have over 40 billion views. I did that just because she's going to make fun of me later. I always say that stat. But just giving you context, I am currently the senior manager of video growth at Zapier. Has anyone ever heard of Zapier? Yeah, so I'm starting to run their team, and we have a goal in the next 2 years to get to 1 million subscribers. And we will. So one thing that I want to start with is letting you guys know that SEO and video is totally different than traditional SEO. It's not about writing titles or things like that. It's actually about clickability, watchability, and likability. Both on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, the biggest algorithms are watch time or average view duration. That's pretty much the biggest way that these platforms determine if you're actually going to be shared, if they're going to promote your videos, if people are going to watch them. Beyond that is the clickability on YouTube. So if people aren't clicking on your title and thumbnail combinations, then they're never going to even see your videos, because if they're not clicking on them, you can't watch them. So watchability is pretty much the biggest metric you have to look out for. And then likability, likes, comments, and shares. So if you make a video on YouTube and it gets 10 views, that's because your basically viewer satisfaction levels are low. So if you get 10 views and you don't get any more views, YouTube's saying, okay, did people click on the video and watch it? Did they like it? Did they comment? Did they share? How long did they watch it? Is a competitor's video being watched longer than your video? And that's viewer satisfaction. So viewer satisfaction is pretty much what SEO is now on all these platforms. By the way, feel free to ask questions as I'm speaking. And if you have specific video questions, just throw them out there. So this is basically the guideline of how I was able to get all those views for my customers. We like to niche down and focus. Unless you're Mr. Beast, unless you can create a piece of content that everyone in the world can actually watch, which is really hard to do, you should have a focus and niche down. If you don't, what happens is the way all these algorithms work is based on basically watch history. So if I like to watch breakdancing videos, then I'll get more breakdancing videos, right? So if you talk about breakdancing today and skateboarding tomorrow, what's going to happen is you're going to start fragmenting your audience down to little pieces of shard glass, right? You're going to just start fragmenting. So if I go to watch one of your YouTube videos and I'm into one thing and you're talking about something else, I'm never coming back to watch your channel again, because you've switched what you're talking about. I don't care about that thing you're talking about now. And then basically the fastest way to not be ranked and show up on YouTube is to talk about a whole bunch of different things. There's a plumber here in Dallas called Roger Wakefield. He's now the most famous plumber online. And when I started working with him, he had a few hundred subscribers on YouTube. Now he has, I think, about 600,000 just on YouTube. For a plumber, that's pretty big. And he does 7 figures in media deals at this point a year. And it's because if you type in how to fix a leaky toilet, he ranks #1 in the world. If you type in plumbing hacks, all the viral stuff, like basically anything around plumbing, whether you're talking to someone that wants to have an internship, if you're doing how-to stuff, if you're doing all the satisfying, like any category within plumbing, he ranks #1 in the world for. And that's how he was able to really become the dominant player in his industry. Is he doesn't talk about electricity. He doesn't talk about welding. He's the plumbing guy. And his slogan is all things plumbing. So if you have a client, or if you have a business and you're creating all kinds of topics, even within marketing or even within SEO, if you only do local SEO, why would you talk about other SEO stuff? So like, you got to understand, a lot of people try to fish in the ocean on YouTube. You should be fishing in a barrel. You should find your people. You should be the underwater basket weaver, in your niche of YouTube. The people that fail the hardest are the people who don't actually know what their value is and what they bring to other people. So really quickly, I suggest you guys niche down, make the most clickable, watchable, and likable content you can. And then we're going to get into optimization later. I am writing a book right now, and this is the 14 steps I take to really make a YouTube channel awesome. At the end of this presentation, I'm going to send you guys a link so you can actually get my book for free if you would like it. When it comes out, it's not done yet, just to be clear. So the first thing is to understand how the algorithm works. Niche down, clickable, watchable, likable content. You want to develop your topic level keywords and define your audience, recreate the top 100 videos in your niche. Think about this. If you go create videos like, okay, what do I want to create today? If you're a brand new channel, you should probably recreate the videos that are already working, because that's the videos that people want to watch. That's the videos with the most likes, comments, and shares already. So start there. Imitate your own version. Don't completely like rip someone off. And then after these 100 videos, go to start doing your own thing and making your own flavors. But why would you start creating content not with the best, performing content in the world? So I would start there and then develop all your templates for your titles, thumbnails, and you can just see this is all logic. It's not hard. Nothing about YouTube is hard. It's just complex because you have to be a video editor and a filmer, and there's a script writer. It's insane how many things there are, but it's all very simple. So I want to talk a lot today about vertical videos, and this is basically the biggest success formula out there for any vertical video. You want to hook people within 1 second. I used to say 1 to 2 seconds, but that's really not true, because our ADHD brains, like 1 second, it's all you get to hook me. Otherwise, you're swiping up, because 90% of these vertical video views come on a phone. So if you're not hooking someone within a second, they're gone. They've already swiped. It takes less than a second to swipe. And then the foreshadowing, basically it's like a second hook, but giving someone another reason to keep watching. And then transition people into the story itself. Tell the story. Use emotions, the top 8 emotions like anger, hate, fear, sadness, happiness, things like that. And then you don't end a video. You never end a video. And the reason is average view duration, and how long people watch your video is the most important metric. If you basically tell people you're about to end a video, they're just going to leave. So you never end a video. It just kind of ends. And that does 2 things. 1, it keeps your average view duration up. But 2, it allows you to do something called a closed loop. So a lot of times what I will do is I'll say at the end, and I'll say, and that's why. And then the beginning is like, Mr. Beast is the best YouTuber in the world. So it never ends and it never begins. And if you do that, you really want, on a YouTube short, you want about 130% average view duration. So you want people to watch your video 1.5 times, essentially. And if they don't, then YouTube's not going to really show this video. Same for TikTok. So if you're able to hook people, give them reasons to keep watching, transitioning them into the actual story, give a lot of emotion, don't end the video, and then keep it going so people don't know when it ends, you could be very successful. Sorry about that. Okay. I don't know if you're going to hear the audio, but I will just, it's probably got captions on it. So what's the tip? Biggest tip you've ever got? $50. Has anyone ever tipped you a car? Emotion. Okay, so what's the biggest tip you've ever gotten is the hook. That's a pretty good hook because now you're kind of hooked and you want to watch, okay, what is the biggest tip she's ever got? So it's enough to keep you engaged and you're like, I want to know the answer. And then $50, has anyone ever tipped you a car? The foreshadowing there, like the second hook, that's huge, right? And most of the people in this room, statistically, will watch the whole video, maybe twice. And the reason is we gave you a very cool, good reason, happy feeling reason to watch this video. You get into the transitioning to go see the new car, emotions, she cries, he doesn't end the video, and the emotional reaction is thank you so much. It's not a loop at this point, but it's such a good video that it makes sense to keep going. Does this make sense, guys? You guys like this? Hey, you have a question? Yeah, I think. Oh, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, has anyone seen this video? Wow, cool. Like 3 or 4 people. That's very cool. Yeah. Yeah.
You got to be careful if you're doing that endless loop because if you're down TikTok, you do that real quick post on LinkedIn, it just stops.
True.
So that's why.
Yeah. You have to make various versions where you have to have alternative endings for sure. Here's another video. And the reason I'm using Mr. Beast as an example is because he's the best in the world. And yes, you can make this a plumbing video or a roofing video. It doesn't have to be this cool. It's the same concepts. How tall are you? 5'11", 6 foot. I don't know why men do this, by the way. That's cheating. Come on. You know why they did that? To annoy people to do comments. Because I was like, hair doesn't count. So then like the comments are insane in this video. And see, he didn't end the video. He just shook the guy's hand. So how do men lie about their height? That's the title. You're already hooked before you watch the video, right? Because it's like, hey, do they lie? I don't lie. I don't know about that. How tall are you? 6 foot. So you see the hook, the foreshadow, transition, emotional reaction, quick ending. It's all the same, guys. And by the way, I'll give everyone this presentation. You don't have to write all the notes, but it's all the same format. And yes, this works on plumbing. It works on anything. You just have to actually create content people want to consume. At Zapier, one of the first things I came in and did is I let people know, hey, you guys are creating content, but you're not creating content people want to watch. You're just creating content. But if watch time, as we know, is the biggest ranking factor for all these platforms, then why wouldn't you create content for the actual viewer? This is where agencies fail a lot. This is where brands, I've worked with Procter & Gamble and a lot of, Fortune 100 brands on YouTube strategy. And this is the biggest fight I have. It's like, guys, oh, you're in branding. yes, the video has to be pretty, but doesn't the video actually have to be watchable first? You know? And if it's not, then what's the point of making a video? So my challenge to all of you guys, especially in the agency world and the clients, is sometimes we get comfortable and we want to check a box. Oh, a video has to be made next month. I would say that's just a bad mentality when it comes to video, YouTube, TikTok. If you don't make a watchable video, I suggest you don't make the video. Just being real. So this is some suggested root topic keywords. So keywords don't necessarily have to be how to fix your car in 10 minutes in 2024. It doesn't have to be like that anymore. But what you do want is the main keywords that your niche is involved with. So for Zapier, it's productivity and business productivity. That's what we do. So you can see how I've developed my keywords based on these things. When we do AI and AI apps, we use the word productivity. But basically, you can see these are all of my keywords. Now, the video can be about anything, but basically, these are the keywords. I don't do the best productivity apps 2024. I don't really do those things anymore. I do the root topic keywords. If you go to the homepage of YouTube up at the very top, you can see all these little buttons and they say what you've been watching. So that's a topic, and TikTok is basically the same way as that. This is the series philosophy that I'm doing currently for a lot of channels, especially Zapier. And I have 5 types of videos I create. I create them in the attract, engage, empower, and adopt and convert modes. And tofu, mofu, and bofu is top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. So bottom of the funnel is people are buying, middle of funnel is people are considering, and top of funnel is viral videos, things like that. So about 70 to 80% of what I do is viral, basically the whole ocean, and then bringing people into a capacity at 4 or 5 there where they're actually purchasing. Any questions on that? All right. That is gold, by the way. I'm just saying. So getting into title strategy, you want emotional reasons to click. SEO is not enough ever on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. So basically, my title strategy is emotion, curiosity, clickable, hook, and topic. It could be in any order, by the way. So for example, 10 apps that will blow your mind is going to be way better than 10 useful apps. Because if you don't add the emotion to these platforms, it's not going to actually work very well. Here is an example for Zapier. And I do it in the attract, engage, empower, adopt, and convert modules so that you see the 5 types of content that we're creating. And then I have actual examples of titles based on these formulas. Does this help anyone? Like how you would develop clickable titles? Cool. And as always, one of the first things I do is find the top 100 videos within the niche and the keywords that I'm going after, and then I recreate versions of these videos. So what I do is I go to YouTube and I type the term like productivity tools, and then I sort by views. So you can see 4 million, 2 million, 700,000 views. So I'm going to go recreate these videos, the titles, the tags, titles, the thumbnails, the descriptions. I'm going to really use these as a model, but I'm not going to actually copy anyone's work. So you can just see, just kind of giving you a lot of context here. I'm starting, even if I wasn't like a professional YouTube strategist, anyone can go find the top videos and recreate them. I do the same for short form content. This is one of my students. He started 587,000 subscribers. He started this year at 5,000 subscribers. And using this model, this is how he was able to grow to over 3 million total followers this year. 5 top most useful websites. That's it. He makes that almost every video. That one video's got 20 million views. So he used this model and the formula, the titles and the script formula, to just blow up. It's pretty cool. So I'm looking at, okay, I got to find 100 shorts that are using productivity. So you can see I start sorting by most viewed, and I'm starting to really get my list together of the videos I need to go make. Any questions? All right. So filming for watch time, there's two things that people can't tolerate. You have to be able to see like the whites of people's eyes, and you can't have shadows on their face or they're shady, right? So like you're not able to trust someone if you can't see them. And then audio, if you can't hear them, you will leave immediately. So those are the two things. Some of the worst students I've ever had in my entire life were videographers and filmers. The reason is because they're thinking of it in like a very methodical storyboard, but that's not how people consume content on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. They have to be hooked. The story might be 10 seconds long or 15 seconds or 5 hours, but you have to do it in a way that keeps people watching. And this is hard for some like traditionally trained videographers. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm just being real with my experiences. You really want, for a long form video, you really have to get the first 30 seconds. You have to get people watching 70% of the time. This is unbelievably important. So if 70% of people are not watching that video in the first 30 seconds, YouTube will not share that video. So you have to find a way to keep people engaged that first 30 seconds in a long video, or you've already lost the whole game. And the way you do that is I would suggest 15 to 30 different frames, scenes, music, things that re-engage your brain in that first 30 seconds. Because if you don't do that, people are just going to be gone. They're on their phone, on their iPad, on their computer, all at the same time. When I helped create Adobe Television a million years ago, we did a study. And we found in instructional design, if you don't change something on screen every 3 to 7 seconds, people don't learn. And it's the same concept here. If you don't change the screen every 1 or 2 seconds on a video online, people will just lose momentum and eventually leave. So again, you guys I'll give you access to all this sheet so you can see it all. Same thing for editing. There's just a lot of little tricks and things to keep people's brains moving. Click-through rate is CTR. Very, very important for YouTube, long videos. And so one channel I worked on, vidIQ, they started with when I started working with them about 5 years ago, they had 100,000 subscribers. Now they're about to hit 2 million subscribers. And the biggest change that we made were their thumbnails. So for let's say you get 1,000 views per video and you double the click-through rate of a thumbnail. Now you're going to have 2,000 views for that same effort of video. If you're not making as much effort in the title and thumbnail as you are to make the video, then you're wasting your time. Because if people aren't going to click on it and watch the video, then why even make the video, right? So click-through rate's extremely important. Here's some examples of the best thumbnails in my productivity industry. And you can see, does anyone have any ideas of why these are good thumbnails? And when I mean good, I mean clickable. I don't mean graphic design. I don't mean colors. I mean people click on these things over other videos. What do you guys think why these work? Anybody?
Emotion, faces and emotion.
Yeah, faces. And, nonverbal communication is greater than verbal communication. So seeing the whites of someone's eyes, movement in their hands actually allows us to connect with someone more than words do. Yeah, and that's That's definitely one of the most important things, is giving someone a curiosity, a reason to click. So the blurred image effect is so effective. Also with the arrow, it's like, hey, what's that? I don't know. I have to click on it. So you're basically being a psychologist here, and you're giving, people real emotional reasons to figure out, are they going to watch your content or someone else's? And that blurred image with the best email app is probably the best thumbnail up here because of that curiosity. Yeah, with all the different icons, you're going to learn a whole lot. Anyone else? Yeah, the overall impact is always said. Very cool. By the way, that's a celebrity right there from Sterling. I'm just kidding. I did pay her. So here's a quick cheat sheet for my thumbnails. And these are 10 questions you can ask yourselves when you're designing a thumbnail, or give this to your designer. Does it show action? If it's not showing something happening, it's going to be boring. Does it stand out? Seth Godin says, be the purple cow and stand out against all your competitors. If the right-hand side rail is about 80% of views are coming from suggested videos on YouTube. So over on the right-hand side rail, you see all those other videos. That's where 70% of views happen. So if your thumbnail doesn't stand out from everyone else's, you've already lost the whole battle. Like, it doesn't matter how good your video is or if people watch it. So does it stand out? Does it make you want to know more? Like the example we just saw that's blurred out with the arrow, give a reason to click. Does it evoke emotions? Again, think primal. Like, people respond to hate, happiness, fear, anger more than anything else in this world. Does it have branding? Can people know that it's your video versus your competitors? Like, how would they know that? Is it color? Is it a logo? What makes you you? Mr. Beast has his face in every single thumbnail he does. The reason, he's the brand. Does it pop? Like, I would saturate the colors by 40 or 50%, because by the time you get a image to the size of a postage stamp, it's going to really be muddy. So if you oversaturate your colors by 30 or 40%, it's going to actually still be a little fake looking, but it's going to give people reasons to have more depth and see your thumbnails versus other people's. Does it show scale? Scale is really important. So Mr. Beast might show what $1 million looks like in him standing on top of a pile of money. So having scale is extremely important in thumbnails. Does it show emotion, emotional impact? And then does it meet the viewer's expectation? The dog can't be a cat. So if a thumbnail is showing something, the title should match what visually that story is telling. And then the video and video preview should also match that. So one of the first things Mr. Beast does on a video is he says what's going to happen. Like, I gave away a Lamborghini for free. And then you see a Lamborghini, and then you see him giving it away. So you have to match the viewer's expectations, or nothing's going to work. So, okay, moving on. In vertical videos, it's very important to capture people in that first second. This is why. So both on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, if people swipe away from your video, that's a signal saying, hey, we shouldn't show this because more people are swiping than watching. Two things could happen. Your intro may not have a hook. You may not actually have a reason to watch that video, or you're with the wrong people. So this goes back to niching down. If your videos are showing up to people that don't like breakdancing, but you're talking about breakdancing, this is going to be really bad. And you've already lost before people even watch your video, because they're not going to watch it because you're showing up to the wrong people. So if you niche down, you can really avoid a lot of this. This should be about 70% viewed and 30% swiped away, or most of these platforms are not going to show your content. Am I getting too nerdy? You guys are all tired. Am I putting you to sleep? All right. If you guys have any questions, pop them up real time. I'm good. Not from you. You might make me cry. Go ahead.
Looking at your dashboard, you notice something like that. Is it a penalty to just delete those totally out to make sure it's not even considered, or is there a history associated with the channel that you just can't avoid it?
Yeah. So the question is it bad to delete things? And the answer is maybe. So if a video doesn't have a lot of watch time or clickability or social engagement, it's actually better to delete that video. But if it does, if it has a lot of views or if it has a lot of engagement, you're actually going to lose all of that. Like that's if you set anything to non-public, like unlisted or private, you lose all the social data, all the engagement, all the likes, comments, shares. So it's actually really dangerous. I was working with Gillette, and at the time, this was a while ago, they were working with, famous people, and they would have contracts that would go out in like 24 hours. One day I woke up and we had lost 8 million views on the Gillette channel. It took 6 months to recover, because if you change too many things on a channel, it kind of goes into like a sandbox mode where it doesn't know what's happening. The algorithm's kind of like, what's going on here? And then your next videos may not perform very well. So you do want to be careful, but not changing the library of content over like 10% in a day. And then I would never delete videos as a standard. I would always make sure all your videos are evergreen. You don't want to actually be in a situation where a channel is losing views versus gaining views. So that's why I said maybe. Hopefully that answered your question. So on mobile devices and your desktop, when you hover over a thumbnail now, you actually see a preview. So in clickability, you have the thumbnail. The thumbnail is really a stop sign. So you stop scrolling and you read the title. That's how you should think of a thumbnail. So a thumbnail is a stop sign. You're scrolling, you see something pretty, then you read the title, and then you click on it. Well, while you're reading the title now, you can actually hover over the thumbnail, which most people do, and they see a preview of 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds of the video. That first 15, 20 seconds should be extremely jam-packed. This is why I said you guys should do, basically 15 to 30 cuts in the first 30 seconds, because this preview, it needs to really tell the story. And in the first 5, 10, 15 seconds, it really needs to match the viewer's expectations. So if I'm giving away a Lamborghini, the money or a Lamborghini and the keys, things like that visually should be in that first few seconds so that it matches people's expectations, and then they click on the video. So the clickability is 3 things: the thumbnail, title, and preview. Here are some ideas for engagement. YouTube actually about 3 weeks ago came out, and it's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys know about this, but if you say like or subscribe now on YouTube, the actual like and subscribe buttons do animations. So pretty neat. So not only is this important, but YouTube knows it's important, and they're trying to encourage people to say it more. The biggest thing people make a mistake about is they wait to the end of the video. 99% of the people will not watch your video for 50% or 60% of the time. Never wait till the end to tell people to do things. I would, after the 31st second, because the first 30 seconds, YouTube's saying, okay, do 70% or more people, are they still watching this video after 30 seconds? And if they are, cool. So by about 40 or 50 seconds, I'd say, if you like this video, like and subscribe. I would do that then, and then I would do it maybe 2 or 3 minutes after that. But I don't actually ask that very often at the very end of the video. And the reason for that is no one's watching the very end of your video. Sorry to disappoint you, but that's just the truth. Number 11, make content so good people want to share it with their families and friends. If you're not thinking that way, if you're not creating extremely valuable content, this is what's going to happen to your life. AI. This is a little thing. I don't know if you ever heard about it. But what makes you different than what a computer could generate. Because a computer can go look at the top 100 titles, it can make a script, and it can make a video pretty easily. Why would you be better than a computer? And really, it just goes back to emotion, and it goes back to uniqueness. I think of YouTube as like the new punk rock, because you can talk about anything, and there's a whole bunch of nerds that like the same thing as you, right? Like there's probably a lightsaber YouTube club or something that just talks about that specific thing in Star Wars. So, you can really talk about anything, and you can talk to anyone, whether you have the certain type of sickness or disability, or it doesn't matter who you are, there's a community out there for you. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think that's another reason you should niche down. But if you're not making content good enough to actually get viewed, get clicked on, then, why make videos? Because an AI can do them as good as a decent video at this point. So without humanity, without emotion, it's probably not going to work long term. Does anyone play with video AI stuff yet? Cool. What do you guys think about it so far?
I used one where you like put like a long video and it takes like a clip of it, like a 20-second clip, and captions it. And it wasn't as good as, like if you actually watch it, you would have probably picked a better 20-second clip.
Yeah. It's getting there though. Imagine that tool 5 years from now.
Yes, exactly.
Very cool.
Hank's a little bit busy right now, but he wanted to share this tip with you. And I did that, and it actually got worse views than my normal content. Promotion, and I'm not on screen.
Yeah.
It was a test, and then it failed.
All right. We have, about 20 more minutes left? Would you guys rather get nerdy into optimization, or just let me ask any question you ever had about video, YouTube, whatever, or both? Okay. What do you want to do first? Do you want to ask questions?
I'm sure your optimization information will garner questions.
All right. I'm going to go by this pretty quick. So one thing I want you guys to know about the YouTube banner is less than 5% of anyone will even see your YouTube page, like the actual homepage. People don't do that. That's kind of old school thinking. So if you really think the banner is really important, then you're wrong. I'm sorry. But it is important for companies to have a brand. It is important, to do it. And also, if you have 100 things that are all like 5%, it does add up. So I would absolutely have a banner, but just make sure that unless you're a large company, just do me a favor and just make the banner say, what is this channel about, and why does it matter to me as the viewer? Just answer those two questions. Because if you do that, so this banner, when I got to Zapier, said set your work in motion, and that means nothing to anyone, right? It's like, I don't even know what that means. Like, why is my work moving? I don't know what's happening. So we changed it to scale success with automation, because that's what we do for companies, and that makes more sense. The icon, if you are the hero of your channel, then you want to be on the icon. If you're not, let's say you're like a phone review channel, then you'd want the hero or a phone to be on the icon. So whatever the hero is what the icon should be. If it's a personality-based channel, it should absolutely be a personality. The watermark, which is basically this little thing in the bottom right-hand corner. A lot of people put their brand there, but a lot of people don't understand that this is a function. When people hover over it, you can subscribe to a channel in real time. So your video icon is always on every video anyway, so you already have branding. So instead of using a logo where a logo is, just use a subscribe button like this so that people know that it's a functioning button to click subscribe. I make it red, the YouTube red color, so that it does, this little trick does increase subscribers by about 5%. Another little trick most people don't know. If you put your videos in playlists, you want to name those playlists exact phrase. So how to fix a running toilet would be a playlist with 10 videos in it. Another trick is you don't actually want more than 7 or 8 videos in a playlist ever. The reason is you're being judged on how much of the playlist is watched. So if you have 100 videos in a playlist, no one ever gets to the playlist, then YouTube's not going to promote the playlist. Another thing is if people like, that video, like getting started with Zapier, that's fine because, it's just a curated list, but it's not going to rank. But if I change that to how to use Zapier, then that would actually be ranked up, because people are searching that term.
So you got a podcast and you had a podcast channel and then other stuff. You had hundreds of episodes. Would you break it up into like different topics? Or
Yes.
Is it okay to leave it? No?
Okay. So a podcast on YouTube is different and it is based on a playlist. So the actual podcast, the way it goes to Google and it filters out.
Yeah, but so I know there's the podcasting in YouTube, but if you're just uploading a video and putting on a playlist.
So this is what I would do 2 things. I would have, for podcasts only, I would have one playlist with everything because that's technically how it works to be distributed into Google and Music and other places. But then I would also have it segmented into 7 to 10 videos per topic. So 2 playlists per video, basically. Yeah. Any questions so far? You guys good? Okay. A lot of people used to put an arrow on their banner and say, hey, click here for links. They changed that and it's completely different now. So if you basically don't do that on the banner, just keep your banner simple because they always change things. And this is actually performing better now, just showing one link. You probably want to add this because you never know who's lurking out there and looking at your channel. One of my friends sold his company for $26 million because they found his email here. They were trying to contact him everywhere and they couldn't. So showing that. Video spotlight, we used to back in my day, we used to give people reasons to subscribe to our channel. So when people come to the channel page, whether there's a subscriber or unsubscribed person, we would say, hey, this is what we do. This is why you should subscribe to my channel. We don't do that anymore. What we do now is we want you to feature a video that is an awesome video that people are going to get value out of. And then they're going to they're actually going to subscribe because they got value. They're not going to, and if you don't really display exactly what the channel is, why they should subscribe, then you're doing it wrong anyway. So instead of making a specific video of why you should subscribe, just make all your videos awesome and you could put your latest video there to get a little more views. The about section is actually really important and it is one of the biggest SEO sections. The biggest SEO play for YouTube is the titles, but the about section is actually used a lot in Google and YouTube and how things are displayed. So you want about 500 to 1,500 characters, and you do want to not keyword stuff, but you do want to have a lot of explanation of what you do. A lot of people don't know this in education, but you can actually drop down your education categories to very specific education categories. So for example, if you're doing a lecture or something, this is a lot more discoverable for how to type content. I just kind of threw that bonus in there because a lot of people don't know about this. Channel keywords, basically you want to put your top 5 or 10 keywords into the channel tags. We already talked about playlists. And descriptions are really important for SEO. I would have at least 500 characters. And I would put a link first to get people to do a specific action. And then after that, I would cater the description specifically to the video. There's a few Chrome plugins that will take AI, will take your video, make a transcription, and then do a summary of your transcription. And then you can use that as a description.
You can also just use wait for the free captions a long time.
Yeah.
Download them. There's free tools to remove the timestamp and then you just use ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And timestamps, are they still important too?
Timestamps are still important if you do them correctly. And basically a timestamp is at this second, between this second, this is what the video is about. And then there's actual links. You can, while you're scrolling on a YouTube video, you can actually go to this exact second. So if it's a how-to video, they're very important. If it's Mr. Beast video, it doesn't matter because it's a story. So the more you tell a story, the less they're important, the more it's, you know, kind of a complicated thing. It's about watch time. So if I'm watching an SEO video on how to do a specific thing, how to click a specific button, I'm going to go to that moment. And if I can get there faster and watch it, my viewer satisfaction is going to be higher. If I'm watching a story about Mr. Beast giving away money, if I had a timestamp to the exact time he gave away money, he would do worse. Because if I just went to like the Cliff Notes version of the story, it's all based on watch time. So he's going to make less money from an advertising perspective. Yeah. Zach. I want to show you guys one more kind of cool thing that's happening in the world. So a lot of channels, especially bigger brands, have to break up their channels into like Spanish and Russian. But what they're doing is they're allowing the ability to do dubs and sub tracks. So for example, Mr. Beast used to have 22 main channels, and now he has one channel and he uploads dubbed versions in every other language. And I think the person in Japanese is like the person that dubbed one of the big animes, like Dragon Ball Z or something like. So that's his language, and so it's pretty crazy. He's employing 22 people in different countries to do these full-time dubs for him, and he will be the first channel to ever get 1 billion subscribers because he had hundreds of millions of subscribers in all these different languages. But now that it's all combined, 80% of the world does not speak English. So if you can get your videos dubbed and transcribed into all these different languages, you're going to do a lot better. YouTube just came out with, they talked about an AI tool that they just purchased, and they're going to take your language, your voice, and they're going to turn that into automated dubs in every language in the world. So this is a big strategy for YouTube. All right. I got too much, but hey, if you go to creatoronline.com/book, I'll give you my book away for free. I'll give my book to you for free. It's coming out in a few months, so feel free to sign up for that. You guys have any more questions? Hey. Sure. What do you do?
So I have a marketing agency and I work with small local businesses.
Like roofers or restaurants?
Locksmiths. So I've done their video content. Recently I've been wanting to offer them like higher production, looking into budgets and just trying to get an idea of how much you fill out from your marketing budget.
So there's two philosophies here. One, to actually get them more customers, and two, to make their videos pretty, right? There's totally different philosophies. Most small businesses want really good looking videos because they assume that's the right thing to do. But if, for example, you hired a local influencer that loves that restaurant, it's going to get 1 billion times more views and more success because people are actually going to believe that person over a nicely done video. So the more, believe it or not, the more raw you make a video and the more non-produced you make a video, the better people are going to believe it and they're going to respond to it. So unfortunately, it's a hard battle because the people that pay you want a pretty video, but they don't need a pretty video. They need an actual customer that really loves what they do to tell people near them with remarketing ads to go to that restaurant or do things. So I would say typically for a video like that, $400 or $500 for a high-end production. But I would personally take that money and give it to an influencer to do it for you on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. You're welcome. Hey.
What do brands pay somebody's got to say 100,000 to 1 million subscribers? Is there kind of an industry standard, or?
There's not. I'll tell you, I'm paying for one video right now. I'm paying a guy with 2.5 million subscribers. I'm paying him $20,000 for one video. It's a 3-minute video, but I'm also paying the same person $2,500 a video to do very specific short videos for me. But ultimately, what I like to do is work with a brand for a year. So instead of doing one-off videos, you're not going to trust me for 7 to 21 times. And what the biggest mistake brands make, and this is one thing I'm changing in the culture of Zapier, is I want to work with a influencer for a minimum of 1 year. I don't ever want to work with someone for one time. We do it one time just to make sure we're like a culture fit, but everyone I work with, I want to do it for a year because their audience doesn't believe in us for 7 to 21 times. And if he just got paid 10 grand to talk about me once, he doesn't care about us either. But if he ends up making $100,000 a year from one company, he's going to love us. And that's going to come through to his customers. His customers are going to hear about us a lot and it's this nice snowball effect. So long-term contracts are the key to influencers and brands, in my opinion. All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.